Hey, what's going on, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. We've got all the grades for the Dodgers first baseman this year coming up in just a second. But quick reminder for all the latest Dodgers news and rumors, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And as always, I want your takes down below in the comment section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day. Give me your grades for all the Dodgers first basemen down below, and also, should they not mess with Max Muncy at first base? There's been some talk that the Dodgers are interested in signing Freddie Freeman. Maybe they could trade for a player like Matt Olson. Should they keep Max Muncy primarily at first base? Let me know down below. And for all the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. All right, Professor D-Mac is in the building. I've got the report cards. Let's take these kids to school and let's throw out these grades.
Santa! Want to see my report card? Think I did good?
Now, I'm just messing, Dodgers Nation. I don't even wear glasses. I can see the ball as clear as Max Muncy. It's actually my girls and my eyes are actually hurting right now. But before we get into these grades, let's break down the grading scale. So the Dodgers grading scale for 2021, A equals elite, B equals baller, C equals average, D equals dude get it together, and F equals hashtag fail. So when we get through these grades, drop your grades down below in the comment section. But today we're going to start with LA's Theo, Albert Pujols. Yes, Albert Pujols, the player that you never thought was going to be a Los Angeles Dodger. Well, the Dodgers, they acquired him in mid-May, and he definitely had an impact on the team. Not just at first base, but he was also the DH, the designated hugger. He boosted team morale. He was a great clubhouse, dugout presence for LA. You saw him talking to guys like Walker Buehler, Max Muncy, Will Smith. He was a mentor and just a positive presence for not just this Dodgers organization, but the fan base. I really feel like Albert Pujols brought this fan base together. We all called him our favorite Theo. And if you dive into his numbers, he slashed 254, 299, 460, hit 12 bombs, had 38 RBIs, a 101 WRC plus. So that tells you he was at least a tiny bit above average. But the Dodgers didn't sign Albert Pujols to hit right-handed pitching. They signed him to mash against lefties, and he did just that for the most part. At 953 OPS with 10 bombs versus lefties. And also, how would he fare as a pinch hitter coming off the bench? Where he goes 14 for 38 as a pinch hitter. Now, he didn't get that walk-off home run that I had hoped he would get, but he almost did. Tauchman robbed him against the Giants. One of the catches of the year. He was so close, but to me, his best moment was going back to St. Louis and getting a bomb in his first at-bat.
The season. He hooks this one in the air to deep left field. Albert Pujols in St. Louis again! You can't write this stuff!
Now, when it came to the postseason, he ends up slashing 294, 333, but only slugging 294, scored 2 runs, had no RBIs, no home runs, no extra base hits, and there were times where he did look outmatched against the Atlanta Braves. But for the most part, there's no question that Albert Pujols exceeded most people's expectations. All the Angels fans just said he was a washed-up guy that was going to do nothing. Well, look, he did provide some power. He did what he was supposed to do, and I think he really provided a nice boost for this team when they were going through it. They had lost 15 of their last 20 games before they signed Uncle Albert, and he came in and he provided some life to that Dodgers dugout. And I think when it comes to Albert Pujols, it was nothing but good vibes. Pujols in LA is something I won't ever forget. Just to see him in that Dodgers uniform was really unforgettable. We'll see if they bring him back. He is a free agent. He's playing in the Dominican leagues. I don't think they're going to bring him back. We'll see what he does, but it's clear he still wants to play even at 41, going on 61. I mean, how old is Uncle Albert at this point? But hey, it doesn't matter because he can still produce. He's one of the game's all-time great players. It was great to see him in LA. Now, as far as the grade I'm going to give him, I think I'm going to give him an H. An H for hug. No, based on what the expectations were for him, I'm going to give him an A. An A for Albert. Why? What was he expected to do? Mash lefties? He did that. Provide a lift off the bench? He did that. Be a positive clubhouse presence? He did that. So he accomplished his goal with the Dodgers. Look, we weren't expecting 3-time MVP, elite, all-time great Albert Pujols. Those are unfair expectations. So these grades are all based on the players players' expectations, and for that, I have to give Albert Pujols an A. Now, next up, we've got Max Muncy. The funky Muncy, he, of course, got the majority of the playing time at first base, 101 starts, 122 appearances, 901 innings, and it really hurts just talking about Max Muncy because he goes down on the Dodgers' last game of the season, Game 162, and the Dodgers lose Max Muncy for the year. So losing Muncy was a massive loss, and it was like an episode of Squid Game. You had Clayton Kershaw go down that Friday, and then you lose Max Muncy the last game of the year. You eventually lose Justin Turner, Joe Kelly. The list goes on, and it was just unfortunate, but it was a really nice year for Max Muncy. But we're going to take a deep dive. You know, I bring my facts to the fight, so let's take a deep dive into Max Muncy's 2021 season. Last year, Max Muncy, he slashed 249, 368, 527, so that batting average was up from 192 in 2020 up to 249, and he led the Dodgers in tons of different statistical categories. He was their best, most productive player from wire to wire. He led the team with 36 home runs, 94 RBIs. He had the highest WRC plus at 140, the most WAR at 4.9. He led LA with 83 walks, 262 total bases. Now, the big improvement for Max Muncy last season was lowering that strikeout rate. That strikeout rate was at 24.2% in 2020, and he drops that down to 20.3% in 2021. That was his lowest strikeout rate that he's posted with the Dodgers, because that number has been high. In 2018, he had a 27.2 strikeout rate. In 2019, a 25.3 strikeout rate, and then to lower all the way down to 20.3. So that's definitely a marked improvement, especially for the type of slugger that he is. The funky Muncy also led the Dodgers with a 379 WOBA, a 406 expected WOBA, a 278 isolated power. But when it comes to evaluating Max Muncy's 2021 season, it comes down to the first 4 months of the season versus the last 2 months of the season, because he was on his way to having a truly elite season. We were talking about Max Muncy as a potential MVP candidate through the first 4 months of the season. So from April to the end of July, he was slashing 279, 413, 557, hit 22 bombs, had a 160 WRC plus, and you look at that walk rate, 17.1%, and that K percentage, 17.6%. Now, from August 1st to the end of the season, he slashed 203, 290, 479, hit 14 dingers, had a 105 WRC plus, but look at that walk rate. It dropped from 17.1% down to 8.8%, and look at that strikeout rate. It jumped from 17.6% to 24.9%. So the home runs were still there for Muncy, averaging a home run for every 13.71 at-bats compared to a home run for every 13.86 at-bats for the first 4 months, but you saw he didn't have that same play discipline. He wasn't taking his walks. You saw him chasing pitches outside of the zone, so he definitely faded a little bit down the stretch, but still was above average. He still finished 10th in the NL MVP voting, and also he made big improvements defensively. He was in the top 3 for the NL Gold Glove Award at first base. Muncy logged 901 innings through 101 games at first base. He finished the season with 6 defensive runs saved, 7 outs above average, and it was really impressive to see the growth that he had at first base this season. So all in all, a really, really nice season for Max Muncy. Now, for the Muncy moment of the year, I've got to go with the walk-off shot against the D-backs, because it was maximum clutchness.
To deep right field. They don't even move. It's long gone. It's over.
Now, for my grade for Max Muncy for 2021, I've got to give him an A-. An A- for Max Muncy. He had a great year, but those final 2 months just slightly above average. He missed the postseason, but an A- for the year he had. Led the Dodgers in so many statistical categories. He's proven that 2018 wasn't a fluke. He's actually had more home runs than any Dodger since he joined the club. He had 35 in 2018. He had 35 in 2019. He had 12 in the shortened 2020 2020 season, and last year a career-high 36 bombs. So an A- for Muncie. Now, as far as next season goes, I'll be honest with you, I am concerned about Max Muncie. You had that dislocation, a torn UCL. He told Alana Rizzo that the recovery wasn't going as well as he had hoped, but hopefully he can get healthy and get back to hitting those Muncie matches that we love to see. But I do think the fact that Dodgers are interested in Freddie Freeman, it really tells you that he might not be ready to go to start the season. Now, if they do get Freddie Freeman, I think he can hold it down at second base. He's proven to be adaptable. You could throw him around at other spots in the infield, and don't forget, you have the DH next season. So get well, Max Muncie. We need you back on the diamond for the Blue. Now, next we've got the Hitman, Matt Beaty. He had 16 starts at first base, 21 appearances, 116 innings. And for Matt Beaty, it's always an opportunities issue. But last season, he slashed 270, 363, 402, hit 7 home runs, scored 35 runs, hit 40 RBIs, had 114 WRC plus. But as a first baseman, 53 plate appearances, he slashed 319, 396, 574, hit 3 dingers, had 16 RBIs. He didn't do much at all in the postseason. He goes 1 for 11 with an RBI in 9 games. So I think when it comes to Matt Beaty, you know that he can hit the ball hard. You know if you give him enough opportunities, he's going to put the bat on the ball, but he just doesn't get those opportunities with his club. Now, as far as him as a first baseman, as far as what he was able to do with the Dodgers, I'm going to give Matt Beaty a C+. A C+ for last season, and he just needs to find a way to get his opportunity and rake his way to more playing time. You know I love me some Matt Beaty, but he just needs to seize it and find a way to get in there and get those hits and get those base knocks and, hey, show this club that, hey, I can be a player that gets more playing time and earn that playing time on the field. Now, for the rest of the Dodgers that saw time at first base last season, you have Edwin Rios, 5 starts, 10 appearances, 55 1/3 innings. Cody Bellinger, 2 starts, 4 appearances, 20 innings. We're actually going to say Belly's evaluation for the outfield grades. Yes, he saw all that time at first base in the postseason when he was getting those clutch hits, but we're going to save that because we have a lot to get into with Cody Bellinger. And then Billy McKinney, 1 start, 1 appearance, 9 innings. Andy Burns, Yoshi Satsugo, and then, of course, Will Smith. Remember Will Smith and that play against the Giants? We won't talk too much about that. It's like the Jock Peterson First Baseman Award. But as far as grades for these guys goes, I'm going to give Eddie Rios a D. Dude, get it together. But I do say that reluctantly because he was dealing with that shoulder injury, and there's no question that it impacted his year in 2021. But the rest of the guys, I got to give them an incomplete because they didn't get enough reps there. I mean, Billy McKinney and a lot of defensive purpose guys, so I'm not going to go too crazy with that. But give me your grades down below in the comment section for all of these guys. And also, should the Dodgers not mess around with Muncie at first base? Let me know down below. My name is D-Mac. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. For all things Dodger baseball, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. For all latest Dodgers Nation merch, head over to GearUp.LA. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.